Hello everyone. Today a quick update after the weekend. To start off, I'm going to share my screen. I think I've mentioned it last time that as per a Fidelity survey, about 84 institutional investors are actually interested in digital assets such as cryptocurrencies, for example. And that was for the US and Europe, which is quite a lot. What I found interesting is in Asia, it's even more, it's 90%. So that shows there is a lot of interest in cryptocurrencies and all related products, which is very bullish for the space. Then I wanted to share some more bullish news. Just 1 second. Here, for example, OneEgg offers ETNs, which are like ETFs, similar, on Deutsche Börse in Stuttgart, which is the largest exchange in Germany. So that's interesting that there are also other assets are available as ETFs. So not only Bitcoin and Ethereum. So that's pretty bullish. Some broader access for institutional investors in this case. We also saw some news on Goldman Sachs, which started to use actually JP Morgan's blockchain with JP Morgan coin in order to facilitate trading, which is also very interesting. So that's it for the bullish news. Let's go to the charts. You can see here, this is S&P 500. We see here this closed on Friday, so the stock market doesn't trade on the weekend, as you know. So we will see today's opening, which is in approximately 6 hours. How this develops, we have discussed last week. So there was an all-time high, then there was a dump, there was a relief rally, and problem is that there was another dump further down below that low, which is a very negative sign. So we have to see how it develops on opening today. If it goes bullish, if it goes back up above support, or if it goes lower, or maybe it also trades sideways. But S&P, as we've seen, often actually doesn't trade sideways. So rather, it has very little consolidation always. So either it's down or up. So let's see how this develops. I'm having my eyes on that because this ultimately, in my opinion, determines other markets. You can also see QQQ, which is the tech stocks only, which had a similar pattern, all-time high, low, and lower low. Also, again, rather bearish. Looking at the daily chart, we see a big green candle. So there was a lot of buy-off, right, of the lows, which indicates there's definitely interest, and we know there's a lot of money in circulation, so that might help. However, we haven't broken above that low from previously, so we have to see how this develops. We have seen some kind of decoupling, which I've mentioned on the last video from Bitcoin. If we look at the Bitcoin chart, we see that actually stock market dumped, but Bitcoin pumped, right? But it can also be liquidations of any potential short positions. It can also be that certain whales or investment groups are interested to hedge, so they artificially pump the price in order to sell. Can also mean that. It can also be natural demand from institution, as we have seen in the bullish news. However, we have to really closely monitor that, because in my opinion, I don't think that cryptocurrency market is yet prone or resilient to stock market and overall broader market. It's still a risk-on asset, in my opinion. So it's trading in that channel. As you can see, there are several lines here, several resistance and trend lines. If it remains above this one, 37.2, 37.3, it's a good sign. And this could go as high as about 53. So basically, this candle could go as high as this, maybe higher, who knows? Maybe it only goes until this resistance, or it can also drop down from here. So ultimately, my opinion is more likely we see more downwards pressure as markets are de-risking, which we have seen in QQQ and also in the stock market. So I think crypto also will de-risk, which essentially means selling. That's my opinion. Ethereum is just following Bitcoin, so there's not much difference. we had the dump and also a decent pump compared to the stock market. If we see further decoupling from the stock market, it's actually very bullish for cryptocurrencies, which means if this continues to go up, whereas stock market goes down, that would be really great for the overall stock or for the overall cryptocurrency space. We have to see that. So there was no particular reason for that pump. So there was none of those news actually triggered that. I think it was in oversold conditions, kind of. And then, like I say, I think it's short liquidations and other institutions might want to hedge the artificially pumped price. Again, this is possible because the market is still rather young. So it's like only 1.5 trillion overall, the Bitcoin, the crypto market. So yeah, we had some bearish news, of course, again also. So there was a lot of Bitcoin ETFs pending, which I've mentioned last time, supposedly having a decision during October. However, all of the 4 are delayed until December, most of them. So this is not really bullish, so means it's kind of disappointing. But also, most of those ETFs are actually paper Bitcoins. So means the companies or the institutions who will be able to trade those ETFs or offer those ETFs to financial accredited investors, they will not have to hold physical Bitcoins. So means it's just like a Bitcoin representation, the ETF, which, you know, ultimately this is not really good for the space. It's just like, okay, it's further adoption for institutions. Yeah, then we had also some further on Biden administration. We also mentioned that before, but again, there was in Wall Street Journal this article, I think yesterday, seeking to regulate stablecoins, issuers actually as banks. So which means US Tether or USDC, which is Circle from Coinbase, would need a banking license potentially in future, which then means they have to KYC everyone who holds that in their wallet. So stablecoins is kind of a direct competition to, you know, central bank digital currencies, and all the administration and all the governments are pro government and pro having regulations on their side. So therefore, stablecoins is a kind of a direct opponent to that. So this is not a surprise, and this will come probably sooner as you think. We have seen another FAT article in Reuters where they say essentially emerging market cryptonization, so threatens the financial stability. IMF is saying that, International Monetary Fund, which is kind of a big international institution. So they say that, you know, for example, El Salvador, if there is more crypto adoption, more Bitcoin adoption, which can lead to a threat to the financial system, right? So they acknowledge that, which is also something not to ignore. So yeah, just keep an eye open for any kind of news. I'm going to share that with you as well. And for the market overall, we will see how the stock market opens today. And I think it will determine the direction of Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. All right, thank you very much.